The effect of this thing is beginning to dawn on us, even as Africans, because it's like, oh, if the Pope can say this, if the Pope had to say this, then there is nothing really wrong with this thing. All right, and our culture is saying no, this is wrong. The African culture is saying no, you can't be a human being and be having feelings for a fellow man. You can't be a human being and be having feelings for a fellow woman. It's an abomination. Right? When there is something is an abomination, it's something that is a taboo, something that it's uncalled for. And when it is done, it's shameful. Right? But because this person is someone who is seen as a God on earth, the figure of God on earth, the figure of Christ on earth, his word carries a lot of weight. And that is why most of the times when we are ruling people, we should be careful of what we say. Because by the time the ignorant ones get to hear we saying things and then not really explaining further, it's like you giving them freedom to keep doing the evil they do, because you yourself, that is seen as a figure of respect, have said they should go ahead, indirectly telling them to go ahead. Because a lot of younger ones, should I say younger ones? No, a lot of people that are into this LGBTQ are so happy that, oh my goodness, the Pope had said it, right? The Pope has said there's nothing wrong with it. The Pope has said, the Pope has said. Now let's listen to this for ourselves, and then we will get into something that will shock you, right?
To do so. The Pope saying homosexual people have the right to be in a family, that they are children of God. Here's our foreign correspondent, James Longman, tonight.
Tonight, an historic shift from the leader of an ancient institution. Pope Francis becoming the first pope in the Catholic Church's 2,000-year history to endorse civil unions for gay couples.
This is a man who cries with humanity.
In the new documentary, Francesco, the Pope says homosexual people have a right to be in a family. They are children of God and have a right to a family. It's a major departure from the position of the Vatican's own doctrinal office. The Pope adding, what we have to create is a civil union law. That way they are legally covered. I stood up for that. The pontiff has called for civil unions in the past, but before he became Pope. The emphasis on the legitimacy of the LGBT family is also notable, experts calling it a monumental moment.
It's a real way of not only speaking pastorally to this group of people, but also speaking lovingly and making them feel more welcome in the church.
Conservative Catholics, though, tonight are calling for clarity. Thomas Tobin, Bishop of Providence, Rhode Island, saying the Church cannot support the acceptance of objectively immoral relationships. But Francis's words are striking a chord with a younger generation.
I never thought that I would see something like that in my lifetime.
29-year-old Nicholas Traxler from Minnesota says the Pope's comments speak to his heart.
It's a difficult road for LGBTQ Catholics. I value my faith and my sexuality as equal parts of my identity, but it hasn't always been that way.
Pope Francis has cast himself as the modernizing Pope, but he's faced huge opposition from within his own clergy. This latest move could mean the biggest backlash yet. He may feel he has no choice if he's to survive in a modern age.
And I'm going to explain why, right? Like some of you are aware of, I was a sister in the convent before I left, and at that time when I was in the system, of course, like you heard rightly from the reporter, that some persons are like, what is this? What the hell is wrong with this man? And some are like, oh yeah, he should allow everybody to live their life. We are all children of God, like he said. Of course we are children of God, but when a child does something that is wrong, that child will be reprimanded for the evil, so he or she turns away from it. And that is the stand of Africa. Now, it was after some weeks he made the statement that he came to Africa. He came to the Congo. I don't want to connect anything to it, but let's keep going because we have a lot to say. And okay, like I was saying, there was a particular congregation. It was said to us, no, it's not just a story, but it was something that happened, and we were told right? That there was a congregation around where we were that they discovered the younger girls in doing these things, like the younger girls, those under formation, they caught them and they said they were lesbians, right? And that case was taken up because, as I am aware of, the church do not take these cases lightly. Now, when they trace it back, they discover that most of the older sisters were into these things, and it's like they introduced it to this younger one. And do you know what they did, family? They dissolved that congregation. They suspended that congregation for that moment. I don't know if they've called them back, but we were aware that that congregation was closed. Now, here is the Pope today making these statements, right? Let's say we'll give him the benefit of doubt that he do not just mean exactly what he said, but just look at the effect that this thing has with those who are already into the practice of this thing. And my pain is that most of our African brothers and sisters who are into this thing now have something to hold on to. They now have something to hold on to. Oh, the Pope has said this, and they are so happy that this is coming from the Pope and it's legalizing their civil union, so that they have a right, like giving them a backbone, planting them, like giving them a root so they could sprang more. Now you begin to imagine how would the future be like when a pontiff, the leader of an association, let's drop the name church now, a leader of an association that has been in existence for over 2,000 years, coming out to say something like this. Of course, it carries a lot of weight. And that is what brings me to the fact that he is fully aware of what he said. He is fully aware of it. Because before you come out to talk, you have people that you meet, your counsels, those you talk with, right? Before you come out to say something, because you are an important figure. My fear now is that these were the things that agitated for reformation. If you did something about church history, yeah, I'm always talking about church, pardon me, because I studied CRS, so what do I? So, when you're talking about church history, the factors that triggered reformation of the early 16th, 17th, 18th century was things like this. A lot of evil was done in the church by the faithful, by the priests, by the bishops, by the popes. This led to agitation. People became angry, right? And some of these factors are some of the things we are seeing right now that is happening. Alright? Now, one of the factors that is responsible for the Reformation is new learning. Like the Pope coming out to say these things like this. The church is like it's divided. Those who are for LGBTQ community will be like, oh my goodness, yes, we are all human beings. Why will you look at your fellow brother, somebody who is not complete because he or she has so feeling for, they will come out with defense, right? And then those who are against it will be like, what the hell is this? It is things like this, new learning. People can now challenge, people can now come out and say, what? They will question your decision. And I believe the Pope himself, Pope Francis, knew that this is the age where people can come out and say whatever they want to say. It's not those times where you were told that the Pope is a god, you can't say anything. Like when we were in the convent, right? We were told that our superiors are God that we cannot see. So whatever our superiors say to us, it's yes and amen. So we have to live by whichever decision they have for our lives. And that is how we were living. So they can't tell you today you have to go this way, because to them they feel you are better that way. But to you, you might not feel that is what you want. But since they are now the God that you see, they are now the voice of God you cannot hear. That is how we were told. Right? So your superior is a God you cannot see. So whatever your superior says to you, whichever decision your superior makes about you, is what you have to accept as the will of God in your life. This is how we were living, right? Now, gone are those days when you just make this statement, or you can't make decision, or you say something, and then nobody will come out and say, why did you say this? It's not like that anymore. People are now wise. People's eyes are now open. So these are the things and more that led to Reformation. A lot of them are still there. But what I'm trying to say is, right? So we were created by a being that is holy, and our own work is to strive every day for that holiness. Now, how do we strive for that holiness when we are living contrary even to the foundation of humanity? And then you come out as a head of over billions of human beings, and you come and say statements like this. Of course, it's going to cause chaos. And because a lot of persons are beginning to say, oh, the Pope himself is gay, and that is why he's in support of it, because he has been in support of it even before his election as the Pope. So there's a question mark on him, and then some are like, everyone is divided, because it's like, what is this? And some persons are still refusing to believe that the Pope says such a thing. Now back to our people as Africans. People, this is not our culture, it's not in our system. I think I talked about this before, the issue of Ama Governor, one YouTuber in Ghana who, okay, she was denied as graduating from the law school because of who she was, right? And a lot of emotions were risen. Oh, why did you knew she was this, and you allowed her to get to that stage, and you're denying her access to graduation? And a lot of persons said this and said that because she was so open, she was living her life. Even she made videos defending her type of persons, just like the statement that the Pope had said, right? So that time it was like some persons were like, this thing is rooted in our culture, because some of them came out and did some research that I don't know how come, and they were like, there are some kings in some part of Africa that were gay. So it did not just started with them, they had backups. Now we always look for something to back up the evil that we do, right? Just to defend ourselves, even where we know fully well that it is wrong. Yes, we are human beings, they are human beings, they deserve to be loved and respected, but what is wrong is wrong, and what is not our culture is not our culture. What is a taboo should be seen as a taboo, irrespective of what the Pope has said, because the Pope is not African. I don't know if what I'm saying is making any sense. The Pope is not African. He might have his culture, where he's coming from, it might just be okay. And that is why I keep saying this, that most of the cultures that we embraced, most of the cultures that we have accepted, are cultures that are contrary to the being as African. Most of these cultures are cultures that are not in connection with our spirits as Africans. We accept to do these things so that they would look at us as people that are civilized, because we don't want to be called uncivilized people. Get that? Because it will be like, in this 21st century, you still look at queer people as people that are evil. They want to conscientize you in the wrong way. So you tell yourself, okay, for me to be in that level of civilized human being, I have to accept that queer people should be accepted in the community, when it is not our culture and when we fully know that it is a taboo. What do you think about this? Do you think we should embrace it as Africans and pretend as if nothing is wrong with it? Do you think it's okay, it's part of life, they are all human beings and they deserve that? Or we should keep shunning against it, like we should keep talking against it, saying no, it's wrong, so that we keep having it in our head that this is wrong? Because I don't want to imagine an African where everybody becomes gay and lesbians. Just imagine how that kind of Africa would be like. because it's like it's a free word. You can live the way you want to live. What do you think? Leave your comment and thought there at the section, and I'll see you in my next one. Until then, love yourself, love others, stay safe, stay positive. Bye for now.